Yo, what up? This is Tizone. This is the Hitlanders Podcast. And I got Streetz Money with me.
What's the word, everybody? It's your boy Streetz Money here. Welcome to the Hitlanders Podcast.
All right, Streetz, let's go ahead and get into this. We've been,
All right.
going back and forth on this for a minute. And today's topic is independent. Independent artists, the whole idea of independence. So, what does independent mean to you?
So to me, independence within the music industry is basically self-sufficiency, like being able to manufacture and produce your product and push it on your own. That's my biggest thing when I look at the topic of independence.
So, saying being able to push it on your own, like, what do you think, like, the resources are for really, like, pushing the product on your own? Like, do you think the majors versus independent, do you think it's more resources independently, less resources? Like, let's get into the meat of this whole thing.
Yeah. It's like, so based on all of my research and the things that I be seeing happen in the music industry, it's like I feel like it's more resources when you go the label route, but as far as going the independent route, it's definitely more benefits to it as far as like on the ownership side. But at the same time, people don't realize that it's a lot more work that comes with the whole independent game. That's why I feel like artists really, that's where their biggest downfall is as far as wanting to be independent.
I think more of, like, I definitely think it's more resources on the major side, of course. But when you start getting into independent, on the artist side, I believe that the success rate is low because a lot of artists don't have an idea of what to do. And being that is no structure far as independent, it's so much room for failure. So you'll get an artist who would think, oh, this is the way to do it. This is the way you gotta have, this marketing plan versus that marketing plan, and which is nothing wrong with that. But when you start looking at the success rate, it's just super low because it's lack of knowledge in the independent era, and you really do need those resources. So once you got the resources of the major labels and adding the talent inside of that, I think then that's what increases the chances on you winning. But I think, like, because I've been doing the independent game since the late '90s, early 2000s, and it is lucrative. You have a lot of flexibility, but when it comes to the artist standpoint, then artists think that they don't have to follow no rules. There's no blueprint. So that's where the downside of independent is to me. It's artists just think that, oh, I could do whatever I want because I'm independent. And it just fails because it's no structure.
It's like I agree with that, but going deeper into it, just going off like what I see, like just my interaction with a lot of newer independent artists, honestly, a lot of people outside of just not having the knowledge, they just don't have the work ethic. Like,
True.
like just from my experiences, from watching you with everything that you've done, and even with what I'm doing with my own music, it's like it's a lot of work being able to really say you're an independent artist and actually have quality content out at the same time. It's a lot of work that go into that. Like not even just on the artistry side, but on the business side as well.
Yeah. And the lack of knowledge on what to do is really like causing, you know, artists to make it 10 times harder to make it, because half of the artists don't want to do the work. So I don't think that those type of artists should actually be trying to do independent, because
No,
you know you're not gonna build a mailing list and be consistent with the mailing list. You're not gonna be on social media posting every day, doing all the things that you need to do. So I just think like it's it's pros and cons to, you know, to anything, but the con with the music and independent is, you know, you gotta find the right artist who's willing to grind, who's willing to put in that work for the long haul, because it's a hard game and is not an overnight success. So I think it just takes so much, and the knowledge has to be there. Artists gotta learn to take that guidance. Once they learn to take that guidance, then I think it's a lucrative situation when you're independent.
but see, that's why I feel like it's more of that's why I feel like it's more of the work ethic that really plays a part in that, because it's like someone who doesn't have the knowledge will go out and seek it if they want it bad enough. It's
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, we got we got the internet. There's been books and libraries around for ages on these specific topics, like how to maintain in the music industry on an independent level. It's like the resources are out there to get the knowledge, but at the end of the day, you have to want to put in the work to get the knowledge as well.
Yeah. And of course the resources is there, but that's the reason why people are still doing the same, you know, type of deals over and over and over, you know, giving away the publishing and signing over everything, because nobody's taking the time to really do what they need to do and do the research and they, you know, due diligence on getting the information on what they need, you know, to actually create better contracts and doing, you know, better deals. So from from your perspective, what do you think that it take from an independent side to really break through this game to make a mark?
Honestly, the biggest thing, like we just was talking about, the knowledge and the work ethic side, but outside of that, consistency. If you ain't, it's like we we're in the oversaturated market right now, especially with the whole digital streaming platform era coming around, and it's like it's so easy for anybody to just go in the studio, make a song and upload it. It's like it's millions of records coming out a day, so you have to be consistent with what you're doing no matter what, and at the same time you got to have the quality to stand out because it's oversaturated. It's a lot of rappers, a lot of singers, a lot of musicians, period, a lot of artists. So you have to be able to make your art stand out.
Yeah, I think it's bigger than just like, okay, you got to be consistent in the quality in everything that you're doing. I think you have to have a real
Yeah,
plan for the music, you know, real marketing plan, real strategies, you know, the way the artwork look, the way, you know, everything is packaged up. I think people not taking the time to actually create like real product and learning how to bring that product to the masses, you know, market that product to where it's undeniable. So I think we got to get back into the marketing aspect of the business, and that marketing has to like coincide with who the artist is and what the sound is. So that's what I think, you know. And it's just like the independent game is it's super hard. But once you break through and once you get that blueprint and have that formula, I think it then that's when it becomes easy. But a lot of artists, it's hard to make them understand that formula, that it is a blueprint. So it ain't just, oh, I'm finna go to the studio, make a record, and then put the record out, and then that's it. And then you just sit back and wait and see what the record do. No, that's not the record business at all.
Nah, that's
You know,
definitely not the
that's just
business side of
that's
it at
more
all.
of like your hobby. So
That's
you
just
got to work these
that's more of
records.
just the artistry side of it.
Yeah, and it's like it's bigger than that. It's like a lot of artists skip internet radio. They skipping college radio. They skipping hitting the DJs, and now you got a million online DJs. Like even hitting the DJs just started out, during COVID, who got a following on Instagrams and TikToks and Twitch, hitting them and getting their fan base to play your records. So it's like, who's gonna do that type of work? That's why I say it's hard, as an independent artist, because who's doing the work ethic?
See, that's part of why I say consistency is the biggest key as well, because like just think about over the years how many artists that you've worked with that you've given them this blueprint and this plan to success, and yeah, they follow it for the time being, but once they feel like they ain't getting the results that they want, they deviate from the plan. Then
Yeah,
it's
because
like I feel like having a plan is definitely necessary. It's without a doubt it's a necessity. But consistency to me, I feel like is one of the biggest things that's needed, because just because you have a plan, there's no telling when that plan when your payout from that plan is gonna come. There's no
exactly.
telling when you gonna see that success, and that's part of what a lot of independent artists. That's part of one of their biggest issues is they get discouraged real easily by not getting immediate results.
But I think if people knew more of how the business actually goes, then it wouldn't be so discouraging because you didn't get immediate results. I think the results is gonna be based upon your work ethic. If you're not putting in the work, you ain't getting no results. So it's really like it's a catch 22 type of situation. You know, yeah, take a minute to actually break through, or you can break through faster. But you do have to put in the work.
Cause
So,
it's like,
like,
cause
how
it's like,
how consistent are you gonna be?
yeah, cause it's like even after you break through, we done witnessed a bunch of one hit wonders over the years. It's like it's the reason that name is a thing, that one hit wonder. It's like people break through, but you still have to be consistent at the same time afterwards. Just because you done got your foot in the door, that don't mean it's over.
Right. So the thing is, it's like, should artists want to be independent?
Uh, it's like I definitely feel like artists should have a time period in their careers where they are independent so they can have a chance to really learn more aspects of the music industry other than just the artist side. But at the same time, like we was just saying, you have a whole lot more resources at your disposal when you dealing with the major labels. Prime example, like we hearing all of these hit songs that get sampled and remade and turned into newer songs in this generation. These artists ain't getting these samples cleared without these major labels. These major labels is the ones who 9 times out of 10 own the masters to these tracks that they sampling. So how you gonna sample somebody else? How you gonna get your sample cleared if you're not with this label? They not just gonna be clearing anybody tracks. And then even like when you look at the bigger artists that's doing these tours and going to all these different arenas and stadiums, these arenas and stadiums are owned by the parent companies of these record labels. These people ain't finna let you come in their crib and put on your shows and tours without them getting paid too.
Yeah, so that's one of the perks of being with a major. You getting all of these resources and these tools to actually break through the industry. So it makes it a little easier. But I think like I think independent artists want to do what major artists are doing, and that's where they go wrong.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have a major artist sit and they'll do arenas and stadiums. But then you got an independent artist saying, I want to do that. I want to do arenas and stadiums, but there's no way you're getting the fans. Now, if you can get 30,000 fans as an independent artist, that's major.
That's major.
But the average indie artist, they don't want that. They don't want that 30,000 fans. They want that million fans as like the major labels, but you're not willing to give that major label a piece of that pie. You want to own your masters. You want to own all of this stuff.
You want to own all your publishing. You want to own everything.
Exactly. You want to own every single thing. But how you going to get to that level and get to them venues when they're not letting you through the door? They're not going to let you through that door without having a piece of that pie. It's like you want all of these resources, but you want to keep 100% of everything. And that's when indie artists forget that this is a business. This is a business. These record companies are in business. Even the indie record companies are in business. So you start looking at it as like, because I done had artists, I produced the records, financed the studio time, but they want to own everything. No, you're not going to do that. No, you're signed to Hitlanders as an artist, but you want to own everything. After we done financed studio time, songs, music videos, photo shoots, every single thing, and you say, oh, because it's your name on the CD or on the album uploaded to Apple and Spotify, oh, I own this. No, you don't. This is a partnership. It's not how it works. This is a partnership. So we're in a partnership with each other. How do you feel that we're in a partnership, but Hitlanders don't supposed to own part of this product? And keep in mind that I'm the producer on most of these or all the product, and then they don't want me to even get anything.
Yeah, that'd be the crazy part.
No. You know, you can't look at it like that. That is crazy.
Yeah, I feel like
totally insane to me.
I feel like the whole idea of ownership has definitely clouded the judgment of independent artists.
Yeah,
because it's like everybody
artists saying own your masters, telling artists own your masters, this, that, and the other. But then it's like, okay, own your masters.
So what you gonna do with them?
If you're financing everything, if you financing and doing all, you're supposed to own it. Go ahead. If that's if you're gonna say, well, I own this and I own it. Well, pay me for what I'm doing, and I'll render you a service.
But it's like even with the whole owning your masters thing, it's like it just clouds people's judgment so much. Like you even look at like the T-Pain situation, for example, when he just sold his catalog for what was it, 100 million?
Mm-hmm.
Like he talked about how people basically like ridiculed him for that, but he looking at it like, okay, do y'all know how long it'll take me to make that much money while owning my masters? Like artists, like that's the thing that artists don't realize. It's like, yeah, you can own your masters all you want, but owning them don't mean nothing if you don't know how to monetize them.
Exactly. So you can have your masters, but then you ain't got no connections with sync licensing. Who you gonna get your record to? Where you gonna make those masters make you money? So a lot of people own their masters, but it's worth nothing.
Like
It has no value into nothing. You can have this catalog say, yeah, I own this and I own that, but it ain't got no value to it. So what are you gonna do? So what good is owning 100% of nothing versus linking with somebody and giving them a portion and let them do what they do as far as with the masters with their resources, and then everybody make money. So a lot of people just constantly accepting 100% of nothing.
yeah,
So it's like 100% of nothing is nothing.
simple as
So
that.
now, only thing you can say is I own my masters and they worth nothing,
Like how is it
and you
that
fighting for nothing.
Like, how is it that everyone can bash the idea of 360 deals, but you got an artist like Jay-Z who been in 360 deals his whole career?
Because when you negotiate and you got somebody's working in all those different aspects with your likeness, with touring, with your sales, yeah, people gonna work a little bit harder when they got something invested in there, when they know it's gonna be a return. So if you doing the deal and you own everything, why should somebody go work for you knowing that they not gonna get paid?
Exactly.
I'm not going to work and I'm not getting paid.
Can't do it.
No, I'm not finna work, a project or go get you a major tour and I don't get nothing out of it. Oh, you just on tour. No, because most artists, especially on the indie side, the independent side, I'll do a project and then the artists go and do shows and make more money than what they're streaming. And I'm not getting a piece of that show money. But you wouldn't have a show
If it
if
wasn't
you
for my
wasn't performing my
exactly
material.
like
So I feel like, no, you got to chop that up because we waiting on streaming money. And then you start looking at it and be like, oh, you done made $40. You done make $46 or $26 on streaming, but you just went and did a show and made 500. So how many more streams you gonna have to get up to that 500 when you doing a few shows a week
you
for
done
five
you
hundred or
done
a thousand
you
dollars?
done did you done did a show for 500. You done set up shop at the show and done sold about $300 worth of merch, but it's like they don't want to break that bread. They just feel
Exactly.
the whole idea of ownership, it clouds their judgment. It makes
So
them perform bad business practices.
exactly. So that's why I look at like most artists don't understand the independent game because they don't want to chop up the bread. They don't want to split the pie. So they think because they're independent, they're entitled to 100% of everything when they didn't do 100% of the work.
And that's the part that people don't realize. That's why I say I feel like every artist should take some time to really explore the music industry on an independent level so they could understand the different aspects of it. Because just looking at even myself, like with my skill set, one, is not too many people who's able to do what we're able to do, just as far as going in the studio and able to produce a beat, write a song, engineer it yourself, record it yourself, mix and master and all that. It's not too many artists that could just do that. Then you get into the visual side, shoot our own videos, edit them ourselves. When people start looking at, and that's another thing that artists really don't really pay attention to, is like how much money that they put into their career on an independent level. So it's like they spend all of this money on their career, and now you got a product that you don't fully know how to monetize. Only thing that you can think is just upload to streaming platforms, shoot a video, upload to YouTube. Okay, but what else are you going to do for that project?
I think it's at a standstill. That's why you have so many independent artists come out and they just upload it. They use DistroKid, TuneCore, United Masters, and be like, "Oh yeah, I just got a release." Okay, what are you gonna do with the release? It's nothing else you can do because you don't have a plan. You don't know the inside of the business. You don't even know how to register your record. You don't even know most artists doing independent don't know where to put the music at. You know, they don't understand about the MLC.
They don't understand the different type of royalties, period.
Exactly. They don't know about Sound Exchange. They only with BMI or ASCAP, and they just leave it at that. That's only one form of royalties. And then most artists just leave the mechanical just sitting there. They don't know about the mechanical royalties. They don't understand, like how you register these records. Even when they go out and perform at licensed venues, they still don't report the attendance, how many people was in attendance at that, particular show. Because BMI and ASCAP, your PRO gonna collect on that. But it's just so many things that's going untapped, unnoticed, that no, I don't think every artist should be independent. But I think you have to start somewhere because it's so hard to get into the record deal phase. Now, artists, not getting a shot at getting a record deal until they get that buzz. So now the record company wants you to do all of this work because they don't want to do that work no more. They want you to do all of this work. Now you got to come in, have all these numbers. You got to have X amount of followings. You got to have a database. You got to have
a foundation.
Exactly. You need a whole foundation in order to win now, to even get looked at.
Yeah.
It's just not about talent.
It's
10%
talent, 90% business.
Exactly. Back when we did, the Lil Bud and Tizone, record deal, it was based on talent. It was based on hot product and the vision. People could see the vision. So you have to think, like, it is 10 times harder to make a major corporation believe in your vision, believe in the material that you're giving to them to make them cut that check. It's 10 times harder.
Yeah, I feel like
you gotta build all of these things.
I feel like that's mainly because of the amount of resources that's at people's disposal now compared to then. Like during the time where y'all did the Lil Bud and Tizone project, there was no Apple Music. There's no internet. There's no YouTube and all of that. If you ain't with a major label and getting your records pushed in stores 9 times out of 10, you indie level pushing them out your trunk or something, selling them out your crib. You cutting small time deals with retailers to get get your records pushed out of stores. Like, it's a whole different situation to where now all we do is just click a button and boom, just uploaded the whole album.
And then it's all over the world.
All over
Everything
the world.
is
Everybody can access it.
It's all over the world. Yeah.
So it's like in that time, just the talent and the quality of your product mattered a whole lot more. Because now it's like, okay, you got a bunch of people that's talented now, and you got a bunch of people that's able to do what we do on the indie level now. What makes you any different? Like, what makes you any different from the next independent artist that just dropped the song this same day?
Exactly. Because everybody can drop. Everybody could drop songs.
So it's like now it's like with today's era, independent artists have to have more of the intangibles.
Yeah. You better have everything lined up, because it's going to be situations where, okay, let me see your following. Let me see if you got a fan base. Now it's these numbers really determine if that record is hot. It is no more testing the market, because the test market is you had it out already. Did it work? If it didn't work right now, they look at it like it's never going to work. Move on. So now I think in this climate, I think it's way too many resources.
Definitely.
Because now we done got away from the quality music, because there's so many resources that they expect for you to pretty much been and made it already before you get to the label. Most artists is not getting signed based upon talent.
Nah, it's marketability.
It's based upon the fan base and how much of the business they have done already, because the labels don't want to do the work.
That's facts. It's like, that's more resources that they putting in on their side, and it's like once they doing that, they basically taking everything at that point.
Yeah. So I think when it's like a level playing field, as far as, okay, you got your resources, you got your connects, you building that foundation, that database, then of course a label will come in and say, okay, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and give you this, I'm gonna give you that. You got leverage, you got negotiating power, because you did do all the work. But then you have on the independent side where a lot of artists not gonna do the work, but they want the type of deals that just say Lizzo got. They want the type of deals that Kendrick Lamar got.
Nah.
Or Cardi or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They want these big deals. Oh, such and such gave Glorilla $500,000. I want that. But who saw all the videos that Glorilla had before she got a deal? She's on YouTube popping.
Yeah.
And, her single did make some noise.
She did some numbers.
Exactly.
She created the level.
On her own. Exactly. So until you start creating that leverage, I don't think that, I think the artist's expectations are way too high.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's not balancing out with the work ethic. Now, yeah, if you doing all this work, you should expect every single thing that, that you want. You should have that checklist and say, I want this, and this. But on the side of that checklist of every last one of those wants, now make a subcategory of what it's going to take, what you got to do to get each one of these things. Do you got to say, I want to start doing shows and I want to get paid $5,000 a show? All right. Well, how many shows have you done? What your performance is like? Do you got a band? Do you got a DJ? Do you got this? Do you got that? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you got a fan base to where whatever market you go to, you could sell $5,000 worth of tickets or 10,000, because the promoter ain't gonna book you for $5 and pay you $5,000 if they not making 10, 20,000.
Yeah.
Just because you want that don't mean you're gonna get it. So I think, most artists got to have the realistic expectations. You can't do what these majors are doing. When they got sales teams, they got marketing teams, they got promotion teams, like whole teams. They got people that coming up with strategies of how this whole project is gonna go. They rolling out, like they doing real rollouts for projects. So how you expect to get what they getting and you're not doing those things? I think that's delusional.
Yeah. You gotta move like the big timers if you want to be with them.
For every action on a major label, you gotta be, if they do one thing, you need to do it 10 times.
Yeah, without a doubt. Because at the end of the day,
they got the machine already.
Exactly. They have the machine. They have the resources and the fan base already. So now you trying to get to where they at.
So if you're not willing to put in that work, then the work to be independent, then you might as well just go ahead and just like really try to get a record deal, but you still got to do the independent work.
Yeah.
So I think it's, if you're not willing to do the work, I think it's lose-lose for you.
Honestly.
If you're willing to put in that work, it's win-win, because a label gonna find you. If you putting up them numbers, they're gonna find you.
You putting up them numbers, they gonna come to you.
Mm-hmm. They're definitely gonna, be on the radar, because if you do your setup right and know that record is popping, they gonna know those numbers, because it ain't no hiding. No. They gonna know who's popping automatically. Mm-hmm. They're gonna know who's popping.
Yeah, it's their job to.
Mm-hmm.
This is their job to basically research the independent artists and figure out who's next. That's the whole concept of A&Rs.
Exactly. And the A&R stages is just lost, because it's hard to A&R an independent artist.
Definitely.
I think far as like success in the indie game, it comes down to the artist trusting the producers and the artist trusting the team. It has to be a mutual respect. You got to be willing to trust and know that somebody's going to guide your career in the right way. If you don't, it's a constant battle.
See, that's
the independent game ain't for everybody.
See, that's when you start dealing with artists' egos and those type of situations, when it comes to actually trusting your A&Rs and your teams and your producers. It's like you often hear this term, my music, with indie artists, and it's like, nah, this ain't. You can't call this your music. It's like, at the end of the day, people ain't getting rich off they ain't hitting Billboard off acapellas or instrumentals. It's like this
Yeah,
is a collaborative effort.
I've been hit with the my music thing so many times where it's like it's been situations where I've written a song, produced a song, mixed a song, and the artist tell me my music. No, they want me. They want this, that, and the other. I'm the face of this, and it's like, okay, well, actually, if I take everything that I've done away, you
You're
don't have
faceless.
anything. So it's a team. It's a team effort to get the product to the next level and where it should be. So I don't understand like where artists come from with these ideas of it's just them and they supposed to get 100% ownership of everything. Like one of the best situations that I've seen, and you know, I like how Tech Nine, and Travis is doing strange music. Their brand is huge and everybody know their part and nobody's stepping on the next person's toes, and they're building that team independently and they're doing everything.
Yeah.
They're doing everything and they're putting people in places where no, you handle this. No, you handle that. You know what I'm saying? You take, this lane. You take that lane. Oh no, you're good at art. You work in the art department. You work in the merchandise department because you know how to do merch. You work in you're an engineer. So you mix records. Everybody have their place
Everybody
and
got a role and they play
everybody's
it.
winning. Exactly. Everybody's winning. So you start looking at, those type of things and it's like, no, that's why you could see that situation elevate and go higher and higher, here. You know what I'm saying? They're doing something new. They're adding something to their pot. But it's not just about, oh, I rapped on this or I sang on that, so I supposed to have all of this. No, it's a brand. Stay within the brand. Ride under the brand because the brand is what's going to give you the foundation to always have something. When you say Lil Wayne, the next thing you say is
Cash money.
right. You say Jay-Z, the next thing you say
Either Rockefeller or Rock Nation.
Rock Nation. Exactly. So they're attached to a brand. You say DMX and do you say
Rough Riders.
Rough? Exactly. So anytime, even you say Manny Fresh, you're gonna say Cash Money.
Cash money.
So people want to be bigger than the brand, and they start losing. They
Yeah.
start losing just because they think that it's just them, and that's when you go wrong. That's
Yeah.
when it goes wrong.
That's that ego thing though. People look at the concept of independence as it's only me.
Yeah, and that ego is taking people like down lanes and roads that they really don't want to go down because now you're not dealing with reality. You're just
Yeah.
dealing with, oh, it's just me. It's me this, it's me that, and it's not gonna work like that.
Nah, not at all. It's like that's the biggest thing about the music industry. Whether you're trying to pursue the independent route or trying to go for a deal, it's like you're not going to be able to do this on your own. It's physically
No.
impossible. You're gonna need a team no matter what.
You can't find one person that really had major success that did it on their own. Everything takes a team. I don't understand why people think they're gonna do this by themselves. It's not gonna happen. It is not gonna happen. Artists,
It's not.
it's not gonna happen if you think you're gonna do this by yourself. Even how people look at LaRussell's situation. No, he's not doing that by himself. He got cameramans, marketing people, assistants, management, all of that. Everybody's helping. They have a really solid team,
Like, do people
and they doing it.
do people not realize that Russ started off financing his career at one point?
Hmm.
Like, it takes a team. Like, you can't do this on your own.
Nah, unless you're gonna be doing day and night. You're gonna be working
Yeah.
day and night.
And it's like you're gonna be working like a slave doing the work of
Yeah.
100.
And then when it get to a certain point, you still gonna have to bring somebody in because and especially if you're on the creative side, you start doing so much of one side that one thing is gonna lack. Something's gonna fall behind because you only one person. You
Yeah,
only one person.
definitely. I've noticed that, like, even with myself. Like, once I really jumped into the producing side of the music, it's like, okay, like, yeah, my producing skills is evolving, but I'm falling back from the actual rapping side because I'm not putting that time and effort in as much because now I'm doing so much other stuff.
Yeah, because it's really hard to do. It's hard to like make it happen, and do all these different jobs. And then a lot of people not even good at all these other things. So
That'd be the biggest thing.
why why are you having somebody in a situation or put yourself in a situation when you know you're not even good at these things? Because like the saying, smart people hire people that's smarter than them. So if you put somebody in a situation to do a job and they're professional, don't micromanage the situation. They the professional. You hired them, let them do the job. If you hire somebody and you don't believe they can do the job, then they shouldn't be there.
Facts.
So the micromanaging, because it's like I've had people come in and these indie artists come in and say, I mixed this record, this, that, and the other, da 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 da. And then they're gonna tell me how to mix the record. Well, if you're gonna tell me how to mix the record, you mix the record. Because you
Facts.
already know what you want. Just do it and leave me out of the equation so I could go help the artists that need my help, that need what I do professionally. You know,
Facts.
it's like, don't say, oh, mix the record and then over my shoulder telling me how to mix the record. Why did you do this? Why did you do that? And it's like, no, I'm the professional in this situation. Let me
This is
do
what
my
I
job.
do.
This is what I do. So if you knew that much, you should have just did it on your own.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Just do it on your own and leave me out of it because it's thousands of artists out there that need my expertise that don't want to get involved with telling me how to get the job done when they could be doing something else. It's just like you watch Fade to Black. Jay-Z not going into the mastering session. He's sending Guru because he trusts Guru. He know that Guru gonna get the best possible product, and he not finna sit there while they tweaking the knobs and all that. No, that's not what he do. So he ain't finna sit in that session. But then you got most of these indie artists. They gotta be hands on. How can you be hands on something you don't even know? You
Yeah.
don't even have no idea.
That's where the having a team comes into place. It's like everybody has a role on the team and they got to play it.
Yeah. And it's like it's so hard for people to play their position now that it's tainted the business. It got the independent, it got the independent game so messed up where people think just because they can upload to DistroKid that they actually making moves. They really doing it because your record is on the same platform as these major artists, but you don't have the same marketing and promotion as these major artists.
It's like you upload a video to YouTube, you on the same platform as them. So
Everybody
what
on the
does that
same
even mean?
platform. But
What does it even mean?
but look how many records come out and it's uploaded and nobody know these records exist. Nobody know these records exist. So how you gonna get there? How you gonna get these people to this platform?
365 days in a year. Your track done been out all of them and ain't even got 365 streams.
Exactly. You ain't even got sense enough to stream it yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I look at artists and be like, you look at their records and you got 40, 50 streams in a year. So you mean to tell me you didn't even listen to your record 300 times in the year? So are you really trying to make it? Are you really trying to do what you need to do? How many links have you sent out to potential fans or potential DJs? Hey, are you accepting submissions? This, that, and the other. I've been watching you live on TikTok. You
Yeah.
know, TikTok is people out got hundreds of thousands of following and people doing DJs doing lives whereas 5,000 people on a live. If your record is getting played on a live with 5,000 people, that's exposure. But everybody trying to just wait and get to the big stage. I got to be on the big stage and perform for such and such. Well, how you think you're going to get there? You got to promote the record for people to know it. You're just not getting on that big stage. Or you going to get on the stage and ain't nobody going to know your record. Then they going to boo you off of that mug.
People don't realize hit records aren't made. You don't go in the studio and make a hit record. Hit records are marketed.
Bottom line.
It's business behind these hit records.
Yeah, because we're in the music business. That's what we're in. Not just music business. And the business is bigger than the music.
Facts.
So until artists starts to look at things from the business perspective, the indie game is gonna be tainted. It's gonna be tainted. If you got a name, then yeah, go independent. But if you ain't got no name, you better link in with somebody.
It ain't even really just about having a name. To me, it's a lot of artists with names that I feel like need their labels behind them because it's like they don't have the quality product to last on the indie level. So they need their teams behind them to give them that extra push.
Yeah. I think the product is definitely important, especially independent, because you really got to have a strong product and a strong presence when being in the independent game. That record has to stick. It got to be 10 times better than what the majors can actually market. That record got to be super hot. I'm talking about seriously hot, buzzing. And you better have a visual and everything to it, or it's just not going to work. It's not going to work at all.
Yes. It's like the quality, the concept of quality when it comes to the music industry is like it's slowly just fading away.
I think because you got people that don't really know what they're doing as far as recording, mixing, mastering. The average artist don't know the
Lack of
difference.
knowledge.
Yeah, the average artists don't know the difference between mixing and mastering. They
Lack
put
of
it together
knowledge.
like, I need my record mixed and mastered. What are you asking an engineer to do? Because you got mixing engineers, you got mastering engineers, you got tracking engineers. Some engineers just record you, they don't mix the record. Then you got engineers that just mix the record. They not finna sit down and take the time to record you.
That's another topic that we gotta break down on another for another day. Like the whole idea of the term producer, because that's something I've been saying for years now. It's like people call themselves producers, but it's like that's a broad term.
Yeah, yeah, we definitely gonna break that, down, get deep off into that because I don't think people understand the difference between a beat maker and a producer. But yeah, that's for another show. But I think like the independent game is very lucrative. It's lucrative if you could really tap in and you really want to do the work. If you're gonna do the work, I think it's worth it. And you don't need a million fans to actually have an impact and make a decent living. In this game. Because just think if you got 25,000 or 30,000 fans, you really could make an impact. Because if you selling product, you releasing product on a regular and you making thousands, thousands on each product, and you got 30,000 fans. It's not hard for you to really make decent income, to really make a living. So that whole concept of starving artists, no, I say starving artists are the artists that don't know that they in the music business.
Yeah,
Starving artists don't know that this is a business. Because if you got product, you should be trying to figure out how you're going to sell your product.
definitely.
That's the key. You got product, figure out how it's gonna sell. Where you gonna sell it at, who you're gonna sell it to. That's the difference between the indie side and the major side. Because the moment you make a song, that major label trying to figure out how they gonna monetize that song. How they gonna get some money from that song because they're in business. So you
It's
got these
all
companies making 30 some million and $50 million a day.
it's all business at the end of the day. It's like whether you on an indie level or a major level, the fundamentals of the business never change. The fundamentals of business, period. It's like it's no difference between McDonald's selling burgers and us selling records. Only difference is the product.
So how do you bring your product to market and get it to the level where it's reaching that consumer and you're selling product, you're selling merch, you're selling tickets. You can get all over the world via internet.
Yeah.
All over the world via internet. Why the most talented artists are not on the internet and will not do content? Then you got the artists that they consider the least talented out here breaking through and building a fan base.
Cause they got that they probably don't have the full 10% talent all the way down, but they got that 90% business situated.
Mm-hmm. They
You go
got
back
that.
to school, 90% still a A.
Yep, exactly. So your content and that work ethic better be A1.
Facts.
And that's the only way you're gonna break through. That's the only way you're gonna break through. So I think like the accessibility with all these DSPs and all that has made artists 10 times lazy because it's just a one click, situation. One click and it's over with.
Yep.
Upload and you don't do no more work after that. And that's not what the business is. You got to work these records. Records don't work themselves. People
At
work
all.
records. And
So
that's the key.
it's like you could be the best rapper in the world. No, it doesn't matter if no one knows about you.
Yep. No one know what you doing. No.
You're just another rapper at that point.
You just another rapper. But yeah, that's my take, on the indie game. I think it's just you have to put in that work. You got to work 10 times harder than any, major artist working, and you got to accept the fact that no, you might not get to that certain level, but you will impact people. You will, you can make a decent living independently if you're willing to put in the work.
Definitely.
And, learning and understanding the business, that's going to be the key. That's the key to the independent game.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
all about knowledge and work ethic.
exactly. So that's the move.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna come back, on another topic, that producer, beat maker, topic. And
Yeah,
go
definitely
from
tune
there.
in to the Hitlanders podcast. We got more topics for y'all another day.
Bad, bad. All right, y'all, we signing off. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with everybody, and tune in for the next episode. Peace.
Peace.